Hello everybody and welcome to the video notes for Unit 4, Day 9. And today we're going to be working with replacing numbers with letters, which we also call variables. Today's video is dedicated to Karen in 6B. Hi Karen. From your Do Now, we worked with problems like this, where it gave you a variable like n, and it said n times 3 equals 24. And then you had to think to yourself, what number times 3 is equal to 24? And then you were able to figure out, well, in this case, n is equal to 8 because 8 times 3 is equal to 24. N is our variable. So what is a variable? A variable is a letter that replaces a number. So in this case, n was the variable that replaced the number 8, because 8 times 3 equals 24, and then we just replaced it with n, or we substituted 8 with n. The other thing about variables is a variable can only represent, and then real big in all capital letters, I want you to write 1. Real big. 1, and I want you to underline it too, because it's super important. Can only represent one number in an expression. And what this means is, if you have an expression, right, which is numbers and operations, this is an example of an expression, n times 3 equals 24, the variable n can only represent one number. In this case, that number is 8. It can't also represent 3 and 4 and 27, because it can only represent one number, and that's, in this situation, it's 8. Got that down? Now let's take a look at these rectangles, because variables can also be used with shapes. In rectangle 1, we have a variable L and we have a variable W. And so what does L represent in a rectangle? Well, anytime you're working with rectangles, the L will always be the length. So we'll say that L is our variable, and that is equal to the length. What does the W represent? In a rectangle, the W is always equal to the width. And since it's a rectangle, if this is the length, and it's L, then we know that this side is also going to be equal to this side, and that will also be an L. That's the length as well. And if this is the W down here, this side, that's our W. And we also know that this side of the rectangle is equal to this side, and we'll say that that is also the same width, also a W. And so now let's jump down to here, this table, where it asks us for rectangle 1 to write the perimeter as an expression. Now, if you remember from our Do Now, the perimeter of a rectangle is when you add up all the sides. So if we added up all the sides of this rectangle, we would have this side, which is an L, plus this side, which is a W, plus this side, which is an L, plus this side, which is a W. So we add up all the sides, and it would be L plus W plus L plus W. Next, it asks us what is perimeter as a number. Well, in this case, we don't know what number L is, or what number W is, so we can't figure out what the perimeter is as a number yet. Area as an expression. If you remember from the Do Now, the area is the length times the width. We know that the length is equal to L, so we would have L times, remember the dot in the air means multiply, times the width. The width is equal to W, so the area as an expression is L times W. We can't figure out the area as a number because we don't know what numbers L and W are. But in rectangles 2 and 3, they actually give you numbers for the length and numbers for the width. So you can fill out all of these using these two rectangles. So I'm going to have you pause and try on your own. For rectangles 2 and rectangles 3, fill out the rest of this table. So let's pause, try these two. And now you are resuming the video to check your work. Remember, if you're not trying it on your own, you're not challenging yourself to learn. Rectangle 2, if this is 8, then this side is also 8. If this is 3, then this side is also 3. The length is also 3. And the perimeter is when you add up all the sides, so that would be 3 plus 8 plus 3 plus 8. Perimeter as a number, if I add up all these together, I would get 22. Area is an expression of the length times the width. My length is 3. My width is 8. And so area as a number, 3 times 8 is 24. If you got that on your own, 2 gold stars for you. Rectangle 3. If this is 4, then we know that this side, this length is also 4. If this width is 12, we know that this width down here is also going to be 12. So my perimeter as an expression is going to be adding up all the sides. I would have 4 plus 12 plus 4 plus 12. It doesn't matter what order you write all the numbers in, as long as you have all the same numbers. 4 plus 12 is 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. 20 plus another 12 is 32. So 32 is my perimeter as a number. Area as an expression, the length times the width. The length is 4. The width is 12. 4 times 12, that gives me 48. If you got all of that on your own, 2 more gold stars for you. All right, now let's take it up another level. In example 2, it's giving you variables for some of the lengths, but it's also giving you some hints about other measurements of the rectangle so that you can try to figure out what number the variables represent. It's like a little bit of a mystery. You got to figure out what the variables equal based off of the clues that they give you. Before I say anything, I think you can actually do a lot of this or all of it on your own. So take a look at this bottom part. You're going to pause, and I want you to try this one and this one on your own. So let's pause and try. And now you are resuming the video to check your work. Remember, if you're not trying on your own, you're not challenging yourself to learn. The first letter of your secret word is T, as in 10. The first letter of your secret word is T, as in 10. In the rectangle of the left, what must be the value of B? Well, here's B. And we know that it's a rectangle, so that means that this length has to be equal to this length. And it's telling us that this length here is 8 centimeters. So if this is the same as this, and this is 8, then B has to be equal to 8. So what is the value of B? B is equal to 8. If you got that on your own, 2 gold stars. And the second letter of the secret word is O. O as an octopus. The second letter of the secret word is O as an octopus. Last one. If the rectangle on the right is divided into 4 equal parts, what must be the value of x? So it's telling us here that it's 4 equal parts, and that this part right here is 4 centimeters. And if it's 4 equal parts, we know that this is equal to this, which is equal to this, which is equal to this, and this side has to be the same. So this is also equal to that. So everything that's red is all the same length. And if this is 4, that means that this is 4, and this is 4, this is 4. And up here, that this is 4, and this is 4, and this is 4. And the x represents this length, which is 2 of these segments. And if each segment's 4, we'd have 4 here and another 4 here. And x would be equal to 4 plus another 4, which is 8. So x, in this case, is equal to 8. If you got that on your own, 3 gold stars for you. And the last letter of the secret word is E. E as in electric. Last letter of the secret word is E as in electric. Remember, you don't have to say anything if you have the secret word. Just keep it to yourself. I'll come around and I'll give you your raffle ticket. And with that,